Slippin' Jimmy is back, or can I say the evolution of Saul Goodman is happening. Welcome, guys, to another review of Better Call Saul, and this is my review of Marco. Now, what we saw in this episode, basically, we saw Saul going back to his hometown after the biggest blow with Chuck and him betraying Saul and pretty much or Jimmy and telling him that he doesn't want him to be a lawyer. He doesn't want to work with him. So basically his brother betraying him and him pretty much taking the deal and taking the money and giving it to the other firm, the McGill firm. He makes amends with Howard. We see basically Saul go back to his hometown, meet up with his old buddy Marco. Now, I absolutely thought this episode was a good, solid episode. It wasn't too amazing. It was really, I want to say it was just Saul pretty much goofing around if you think about it. But it was actually a really good episode. I did enjoy it. It did have a heart to it. I did love the interaction between him and his friend Marco. Marco seems like, he's a guy who just needs a little rush in his life. So I did like how he was pretty much Saul's temptation. He wanted him to get back to his old self once they meet up. So it was great. Definitely great interactions. Definitely great, what they were doing in this episode, because they do team up at some point, so it was good stuff. But that's basically about it overall. Like, it was just basically Saul meeting up with his friend and whether he's going to go back to slipping Jimmy or not. And we also see Kim, him and Kim have a little heart-to-heart. We see and we just see Saul just kind of devastated of what Chuck has, done to him. I thought this episode was great. I thought the direction was great. I thought some of the use of when Saul and Marco were hanging out, I thought there was cool, a little montage going. I felt like a little Mafia Goodfellas type feel for some reason. Especially, or like a little bit of Pulp Fiction too, a little Quentin Tarantino, especially with the dialogue, because this episode definitely focused more on dialogue and the friendship of Saul or Jimmy and Marco. You saw a flashback in the beginning that you do get a lot of stuff from Saul's background, from why you actually get an answer of why Chuck needed to bail him out, which I thought was hilarious, and I thought it made total sense. So, I thought this episode definitely was handled very well. Like I said, there wasn't too much going on. I mean, there wasn't too high stakes things going on. It was just really Jimmy trying to get back to his or Jimmy really temptation of getting back to his old self, or staying the right course, the right path, even though he knows Chuck has deceived him and betrayed him. So I thought this episode was great. I really had a lot of fun with this episode. I thought it was the dialogue was great. I thought the friendship between the Saul and Marco was great. I thought some of the activities they do were hilarious. I also thought, there wasn't too much of the supporting cast in here. It was really about Jimmy and Marco. You got a little bit of the supporting cast. I did like the conversation that Jimmy and a.k.a. Saul and Howard had. I thought that was a great little, interaction there. I thought it was great how basically handling of the case, of the old folks home, that's the big case that's going on. So overall, the episode was great. The direction was great. It felt, like I said, like a Quentin Tarantino type deal. It was a good, solid episode. It wasn't overly amazing. There wasn't too much going on except, Jimmy going back to his hometown. But overall, I enjoyed it. That was great. Let me know your thoughts. Please subscribe. Please like. And let me know what you thought of this episode and the overall season of what, excuse me. Reference right here. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening, and until next week, until the season finale of Better Call Saul, and I can't wait. It feels like this is definitely a big setup to a great finale that we're going to get. So, see you guys.